I think we're ready.
All right, we're gonna call the July 9th work session to order. Kyle, what do we got?
Can we turn the fans off? Yeah, we can't turn the fans off for your kids.
Huh?
There you go.
Nobody wants to hear that here.
Level of
Yeah.
Those fans of today. So we've got a couple meetings in here and try to cool it down. They were pretty warm in here for the gun show.
Yeah, I bet.
Can I moved you over, Sarah, or at least, let me see, promote to panelists, should be able to move over. Audio, video. Is our video? There we go. Okay. Work session, last meeting before the fair.
Yeah,
100 pounds.
ready or not.
So event and rolling calendar. I'm just trying to keep you guys updated with everything that's going on. I really have not added much to the rolling calendar. Because we're chugging through.
Yeah.
For the fair, we got the crime scene camp happening now. There's a citywide elected officials meeting this Thursday. The sheriff is gonna be briefing the city commissions on the deflection from the measure 112 stuff. I think they're gonna talk a little bit about wetlands and flood zones also. So that'll be a packed house, Hampton Lumber's picnic, a couple weddings. And then the fair. The pro wedding one, then fishing season.
Yeah.
We met with the Army 2 weeks ago. They're gonna do that exercise again in the parking lot in the midweek in September. Yeah, that's the highlights. Rolling calendar, planning to debrief after the fair. I still have August 6th. We were gonna move
I
that a
thought
week
we were
out.
moving that. I have that already on my notes. The
Yeah.
following Tuesday, I thought, because,
The 13th.
yeah, it's right after the fair. Yeah, the 13th.
That updated. Convention, that's this 17th.
17th of October.
17th, 18th, 19th of October in Redmond. That's sistered with the Columbia River Circuit Finals that'll be happening there, so that's gonna be part of the event. Been working on the program. I'm on the committee putting together the convention for them. There should be some good stuff there and some good, we're trying to get it to where there's stuff for boards, there's stuff for staff, there's stuff for maintenance workers, and there's stuff for the vendors to be able to actually sell their services to everybody. So kind of being a meeting place to help fairs buy entertainment and services. Yeah. If you have any questions, let me know on that. Otherwise, we can move on to the hair KOs. So we had worked with Cornelio to book 3 dates to do 2 rodeos and a dance. And I told him our direction is that we need to do the alcohol sales. So we scheduled a meeting and
Louder.
we scheduled a meeting and we talked with the promoter that he works with. I even went as far as offering them 30% of our 35%. So we get 35% from the beverage service and giving them the 30% of it. They said that's just a deal breaker. They can't do it. So I said, all right, I guess it is what it is, but then I come back and talk with you guys and see if there was any
There we
more
go.
conversation that we wanna have, you know.
So it's a deal breaker that they can't control the alcohol, is that what it is?
Their concern is that, especially with the bull riding event, was that their margin is so small that if they don't make enough money on their ticket sales, that they have to make up for it. You know, they basically are using that to cover their expenses, like they may not make money. They may break even or take a smaller loss,
Yeah,
I suppose is one way of looking at it. So I wanted to talk with you. I thought I could talk with the beverage service as well and see if he had ideas. When I talked with them, it sounded like they're familiar with this, said they work in Benton County and there's a vendor there that they use as well. They said, can we use that vendor? It's like, no, we have a contract with the vendor. We need to use our vendor. I'm not sure why it would make a difference for that vendor versus ours. So that developed last week, so it's two events that they were planning on doing in August and October that basically they're canceling as of now.
yeah,
It's tough. I told him it's not really about the money, it's more about, you know, the liability and the risk. Making sure that there's not overserved, underage drinking, out of control, that type of stuff.
did they come with their own all licensed and everything?
They were licensed, yeah, they got a license. The only thing that they dropped the ball on was they were selling food and they didn't get their health department license. They were licensed in their county, but they weren't licensed in our county.
Yeah.
So they
So
just,
did they pay us a percentage of their alcohol?
they did, yeah, they paid us 15% of their alcohol sales. Just like every other, you know, basically every other event that's not using our beverage service at this point. Which is really like the banquets and stuff, like, we haven't gotten to where everybody's, there's been the chamber that's done their event forever, or. Yeah, it's mostly just those banquets.
Yeah, well, I understand, you know, we're trying to build something, and so I hate to turn them away just because of our vendor.
Yeah,
Although we need to be going in that direction, but until it becomes like popular and people start going to it, knowing what it is.
yeah,
Most people don't know what the heck what it is. You
Right.
know? And so, my personal opinion is I'd like to see them come, and if that's a deal breaker, then I'd like to allow it until it builds to a place where they are profitable, and then we can,
yeah,
you know, let them know that until it grows, you know, we'll allow them to use it. That's just my personal opinion. Because I really want to see this place used more and growing.
We also didn't do any advertising for it, which
Yeah.
was not okay. And I think if we advertised, like, I didn't even know it was going on that day. So I think if we advertise things, especially like that, while we're making some concessions for it, we would see something grow.
yeah,
Things have to have an opportunity to grow, just because it doesn't work one time.
Yeah,
Like, we have to give things
Right.
like the Fleetwood Mac concert. We can't just not do it because it wasn't like gangbusters the first time.
right.
yeah, I agree.
I can reach back out to him and have a discussion. I need to have a discussion with our vendor also. Because we have a contract with him, even though he knows that we're trying to go into that thing, but if it's a deal breaker for no event, like we gotta be working towards making it work.
Yeah,
I also think with we have to find a gray area. Not everything is black and white. Not every event we have is this or that. We have to have some,
there's gotta be some
Flexibility.
flexibility.
Yeah. I agree. I will reach back out to him and tell him, you know, we want to work with them. But we want to get to where this is what, you know, our intention is to get towards, that we
Yeah.
have control over that piece of it. And see what they say. And go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Carnival discussions, I reached out to Rainier. I talked to her on the phone. She asked me to send her an email. They kind of laid out the stuff and she would look at their calendar and send back. Just with her not being in front of her computer, she said basically that week prior or 3 weeks later. Was probably what they would be able to do. Granted, that's just with Rainier. I haven't talked to
Yeah.
Davis or well, those are the other two big Oregon ones, or Funtastic is another one to talk to. She said they do like a smaller party type deal the week prior, which is more manageable for them to be able to pull off to do
Yeah.
a second show. But you know, the next week it's Yamhill and then it's Tillamook, which Tillamook I think uses almost all of their stuff the following. So she was gonna send me back some information on exactly what would work for them, and then we can continue to build off of that. What she did say was there won't be much certainty on what their next years will look like until like September. You know, once this fair season is wrapping up and the next one's kicking off, where they start to see dates, because other fairs are potentially moving their dates, could potentially be moving dates, and other events could be happening as well. So I reached out to them, was just the first part of asking questions, and we'll
Yeah.
continue to work on it.
Have you talked at all about them being interested in just coming down and having a carnival without a fair?
She talked about that, she brought that up when I talked to her. She said, people ask if we come and do a standalone. She said, that time of the year, it doesn't work. Says there's too many events happening,
Yeah.
people are going to other activities. And it hasn't worked as a standalone deal. Like, I think if it was way earlier in the season or way at the end of the season, they might be interested in something based off of how I was reading her
Yeah.
comment, but I'd still have to ask them more about that.
That's fair.
So what do we do when we decide to move the fair and then it still doesn't work to have a carnival? And we've upset every
Yeah.
other thing that, because pre-COVID, when we went to the OFA, they said, get used to the idea that no fair will have a carnival.
They did say that.
And that was pre-COVID.
When I sent my message to her, I had made that comment. I said, can you give us some insight on the industry? You know, as far as that comment, I didn't say specifically that, but I said, you know, there's concern that, you know, the industry is going away, basically, and asked her if she had any input on that. So when she responds to me, hopefully she has a comment on that. But if we were to make a move, we would sign a long-term contract
Yeah.
before we made that.
We
It
had a
would be,
contract, they canceled our contract. Contracts get canceled all the time. We had a contract with the carnival and they canceled it. I'm just, it's a
Yeah.
lot of moving pieces to move the fair,
Oh, yeah, no, I
or
understand.
maybe.
Yeah.
Especially with breeders and all that kind of stuff, and
It would be at least a 2 to 3 year process, because you gotta get the breeders to. you know
yeah,
what I
we
mean?
can't just like move the fair next year.
Yeah.
That's,
so, yeah, you guys asked me to start asking the
Yeah.
questions, so that I was bringing.
Start fishing
so
around.
I think if you make a change, you would definitely say, you'd have a contract for 3 to 5 years. And, yeah, contracts, I suppose, could be canceled. It'd be better than having just the 1-year deal.
Yeah.
You know? If there's any other specific direction you'd like me to go looking into that, to that conversation, I can. I think, you know, I can reach out. They're all heavy in the busiest part of the
Oh, yeah.
season. It's starting to get real hot for them, but
are there
it's
any,
definitely a good thing to be on our, let's see, agenda, our goal for the convention this year is to be trying to have those conversations or even setting meetings with them, because they'll be there. Most of the carnival operators will be there. We could set some times to meet with them in person while we're there.
are there any options for having a carnival like Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
That's probably what they would do. I mean, I don't know if they would even do a 5-day carnival. They would probably have to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But even with, I'm not sure, it'd be tough for them to convince them to do 5 days. Without being a much larger fair.
Yeah.
They gave Tillamook's 4 days. I don't know what Yamhill is Yamhill 4 days?
I'm not sure.
One thing,
Columbia, I think, is
the one
5
thing that's
days, but
different
it's
between
Sunday.
like Tillamook, we have 10 times the animals Tillamook has.
Yeah.
Like we have a large animal fair, so. I think they can do it in a shorter amount of time because they have like 5 steers. We have 40. Sometimes
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
They have pigs and they have a lot of dairy cows, but they don't have the numbers that we have to squeeze into
Yeah,
3 or
they
4
have
days.
open dairy where we don't have that. They do open, they only have a few dairy cows for 4-H FFA.
Yes,
They have big open dairy class.
Yeah.
right. But when you're trying to show 40 steers, it's hard to squeeze we're pretty tight.
Yeah, they have. Couple dozen more pigs this year too, right? It's gonna be
That would
tight in there.
fit us, our kids.
Tim came out earlier this week and said, we're gonna have to put the scale outside because we're gonna have to put pins there. Okay. Well, you guys have had to do that before, but.
Oh, yeah,
they do
that's where it
this
used to
year.
be.
Used to be like that, so.
Yeah, those are all the conversations to have. Hey. There. 5:20, it's coming up. I mean, most of the stuff is pretty much in the works. Let me pull up my budget sheet. And we can kind of go through that. What I got on here? Wrong button. This one. Okay. This is, I think I have a couple of things that I don't have plugged in here, but. I can show you those because they're on separate sheets. This is kind of the summary sheet. It's broken out for premiums. Let's see, this is the big section, fair entertainment. Buck trout, bouncing bat, so buck trout's the. Fair ambassador guide, bouncing battles, all the inflatables, we've got $12,000 worth of stuff in that, it's like. 11,750, something like that,
Yeah.
the true number. The thrill show's 15K, ride hard is mutton busting, goat roping and longhorns. Kids love bounce house, the petting zoo, I have the pig roast plugged in here, we'll talk about that. Rascal rodeo. Seth, Oregon photo booth, all of the bands booked are here, so this is the full lineup, I'll show you the schedule on that. And we'll get that posted here in a minute. Reptile show, it's on the stage schedule also, Joe Nichols, Selena. Opening for Selena, Super Sonora, Cassie, Romeo's Piece, Sound and Light, 18,000. Stage 8,000, band catering was right in this 5K, that's for both shows. The VIP catering, we have those two options I sent you guys, we got like the $7,500 option and the $10,000 option. Catering tent, let's just pull it separately because it's not connected to the other stage. The RV's dressing rooms, we still need to get one more RV. We have two, they're asking for three. I got Spruce Up Warrenton bringing their games. We bought $5,000 worth of prizes. She told me yesterday that the group she had for Friday had to back out, and she still doesn't have a group for Wednesday, so we're still trying to find two groups to run, but we got Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday filled.
Would any of the other ones that are only doing one day do two shows?
So just this morning, she kind of really handed me off the information on the people that she had. She'd been doing the coordination and she's still working with her groups that she has to get folks to come, but I told her I could try to help find another group, or we could try to help find some other nonprofit groups that would be interested in those days. So there's some calls that need to be made. She was working on Wednesday. It sounded like she was maybe trying to get two groups to kind of split half and half, or do, half of the games they left, because they were having a hard time getting enough people to run all of the booths. Bingo prizes, you have to figure out what that looks like, but Stephanie was gonna do bingo after the talent show. Instead of us booking another band, we were just gonna do bingo. Which is about what we would pay a band to be on there for that time. It's really hard to know when to book the band for, because we don't know how long the talent show is gonna go. And that was the problem last year, right? Talent show got over early and then I didn't have any band and then there was nothing for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Are we doing the watermelon eating contest?
They are doing that. That's not on this sheet because it doesn't have a cost. But yes, they're scheduled to come. That's on the stage schedule. They'll come right before the talent show. Portable toilets, 12 grand, dumpster, 6 grand. The stage, this is, yeah, the stage is the tent and everything needed for the food court, sound and everything is 8 grand. The parking lights, 5 grand, fair sound, 5,500. So this is the actual sound for the stage and then all around the property for all the 4-H activities. We rent extra tables for the judging. This is support for Katrina with open class. Cart fencing to fence in our area over there. CB Lawn Care is gonna help us with that, like the real event fencing, you know, like the aluminum bike rack stuff. Instead of like the construction fencing or
Yeah.
plastic fencing, which is giving us a great rate. It's like $3.80 for it or something. And he's setting it up. It's like, honestly, this was by far like a third of the price of any other fence rental company. Right on. Meals for volunteers, van. So currently we've got alums, but we've got to have a backup plan in case we don't.
Is it sells?
So I don't have a number plugged in there. ADA shuttle, so this is numbers of duplicates, so that can be pulled out. So I have this ticketing, security and first aid. 21,609 is the total price, but that is really broken up between ticketing, security and first aid. So that first aid number's in there. I have it broken up on their contract that shows how much was each of those. I just haven't updated this yet to show how much was each one. Last year, we paid more than that just for security.
Yeah.
This year, we're getting admissions, security, and a first aid.
Sarah would like to know what carts are.
So that's renting one utility cart, golf cart, and then it's renting the 6-person cart that we'll use for the VIP shuttle. Are you not able to talk?
No, I am. I just didn't want to interrupt anybody. So I can't see you when the screen's up, so.
I don't have all of these plugged in, but you can see there's all these gaps. These are where we've got to pay for lodging for each one of these vendors. I don't have it broken out yet into what we're paying for each one of them, but the lodging for everything all together, including security, it's like 17 grand.
Is lodging already booked?
Yeah, all that's reserved. Yeah. ADA, that's Astoria School District to bring their ADA bus with the ramp. That's $1,000 for the full week.
That's dirt cheap.
And they have sent us their staffing schedule for it. So we've asked a couple times, like that $100 or whatever the number, like this number is the right number, right? And she hasn't responded to it, right? But she hasn't said no.
They gave us, yeah.
That's what the number says. It just seems too good to be true.
For how many days?
5 days.
That's cheap.
I mean, a school bus driver probably is making $25 an hour. That doesn't even pay their wages
Yeah,
to drive the bus.
right. So that's why it seems like a sweet deal, but what they told us. So what would that'd be the $200 a day. We have a $20,000 marketing budget. We wouldn't spend that entire 20,000 because some of that's got to be left over for the beginning, you know, kicking off next year's fair. So we'll spend 15 to 17,000 of that. We're working with digital ads, working with Facebook ads. We've got some radio ads. We've got Spotify ads. So we're pushing out stuff to try to get the word out. Everything's expensive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just to get into the Coast Weekend is like $1,300 or something.
Nobody reads the Coast Weekend.
We as the bank are I'm going to do a radio ad for the next 3 weeks. Inviting everyone to the fair, it has the dates, and then inviting everyone to the auction, which has the date and time in it too.
Nice.
As the bank.
Nice.
You guys have a schedule of the events that are happening?
Yeah, that's one of the goals that we're trying to get to. I mean, we know what's happening, but we gotta get it into paper where it's clear. Yeah. That's one of the things we're trying to work on. All the bands, yeah. I'll get to that here in a second. I'll pull up that page for the big. I definitely have that stage. Like that is done. Like all those times are good. It's the other stuff's like, when will the mutton busting happen each day? And when will the thrill show happen each day? We've got to get those set on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll work on that.
You need to have like sheets up with that or a QR code where someone could just scan and be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is, I know we have, what's his name walking around, but
Yeah,
it
so
would be
we
nice
will,
to also have that.
we'll get basically like a flyer issued for each day and we'll post those soon here. And then each day, you know, we'll have all of those posted, but then each day we'll also have that days at each
Entrance.
admission
Okay.
gate, so that's posted.
I think we need to get that done like this week because people are gonna be asking for days off work to come to the fair.
Yeah.
And stuff. We can't wait until the last minute, but I have two questions.
Sure.
Do you want me to help you find an RV?
So Brittany said she was gonna ask somebody, but I think we're to the point where we just need to find one. What's up?
So
Yeah.
how big do you need it?
She said size isn't as important, more that it's like a later model, like it's newer. If it's bigger than 20 feet would probably be good. I wouldn't want anything bigger than 30 foot, I think. If
It
you
needs
were,
to have though, a place that can't be a 20-footer. I mean, who's this one being used for? Cause I think Kelly should be used for Joe, cause it's
Yeah.
bigger and they have, you know,
Yeah.
more room in there, but
yeah,
for, Cass, I think, I don't know how much she needs.
yeah, so, yeah, it's Joe and his band need the two and then Cassie needs the one. It just needs to be large enough so that they have room to actually sit down and like
Have a
something that's
table,
just
though.
got, yeah, have a table and a couch.
Probably a 25-footer.
Yeah, 20 is pretty small. 20, yeah.
And do they get anything for loaning it to the fair?
Yeah, we can work with them. We'll give them tickets, VIP tickets for sure. Like the one that I booked, asked them what their monthly payment was. And they told me how much their payment was. I said, we'll pay your monthly payment for that month. And they were stoked about that. And so, I wouldn't want to go probably over $500.
Yeah.
We shouldn't go for 500.
Yeah.
My next thing is, I don't know if this is the right time, but some of the Facebook posts say contact us, but there's no information on where you want them to contact. So can we make sure to add either an email or a phone number?
Yeah. Yeah, that one I did on the,
Because some of the, I'm getting
Kyle's
tagged in some of the
cell
posts,
phone
but I
number on
can't
there.
comment because I'm not in their clubs.
like the music one.
Yeah,
Yeah, most of those people I've been in contact with in the past. Yeah, they've been hitting me up on that one pretty good. Where do I contact you? I usually try to put our email address or our website on there. But I didn't on that one. I was scrambling to try to find a replacement. Okay, no charge activities, Spruce Up Carnival, ride truck. The Army's bringing their joust, all of our games. We have the movie screen. You can set up a movie. Art gallery, they said that they can't squeeze it. They said they have too many events going on right there at that same time, but maybe next year. Wes has got a pretty exciting car show worked out. He's got the middle school,
Good.
with their Pinewood Derby thing
Oh, cool.
sorted out. They're like CO2 powered Pinewood Derbies.
oh, that's fun.
He was asking if, we knew folks that would want to decorate his truck with flowers. He said the back of his truck is that antique truck is all set up for like a flower display. Told him I'd talk to the master gardeners. But he just asked me about that this morning. That they got their funny car and, he should be getting us a flyer either tonight or tomorrow, he said. Peterson Cat, I've talked with them a couple times. They're open to bringing some display equipment. he still hasn't confirmed if that's gonna happen or not. They keep asking about space and basically told him how much we can basically make as much space as we need. And they think it would be a balance between them having equipment out for rental and also maybe some forestry equipment. It just really depends on what their sales team will push out. I can't recall, and this was a question Tom asked me this morning, what if we were going to be using Jeremy's and your tractor again for the people mover? I don't remember.
I'm not in on that deal. You're gonna have to call Jerry yourself.
Okay, I don't remember, I can't recall if we brought it up earlier. I mentioned it to him as well, that if we don't have something that maybe we would ask them for a rental or a display or something, but because we'll need to find something, so I can call Jeremy. See what he wants to do, and I could see if they have something. I don't even know if they have anything.
Well, last year used our own tractor.
Yeah. Right. Big horse race. Folklore dance group are coming on Saturday night and the talent show. There's a lot going on, and then we were gonna add the corn pit in. We can get that done. So with all of those numbers plugged in, and I don't have that lodging number that is right in the $17,000 range. Let me pull it up, it's right here. Yeah, 17,463. Just put it in this. And then this can be deleted. We're right there with a balance of $1,600 left out of our budget. So I think we put together quite a bit here. I think we've done pretty good. There's not much more room to work with though.
Yeah. Good.
Save that. I will. So vendors. Yeah, I gave you guys a copy here of I don't have it myself, I gave you guys the copy. Those are all the vendors that are booked, the food vendors and the commercial vendors.
Booked.
Booked. And thank you.
Kyle. Kyle, can you send me a copy of that? I don't have it, obviously.
Yeah, let me send it to you right now, and I think I can pull it up here too.
Thank you.
I know where it is. It's right here. Are you able to see this, or should I just email it to you? I don't think you can see that.
Sorry, and my thumb doesn't want to hit the right button. I can't see it. If you could just email it, I'll open it up side by side.
I'm assuming Josh isn't considered a vendor, but he's gonna be open.
Yeah, well, he is considered a vendor. He gives us a percentage, right?
Oh,
Just
there it
like-
is. Sorry, it was
Yeah.
skinny.
And the chicken coop is even considered a vendor technically. Cause we did have Trace Bros cancel last week. He said basically with his new business opening up, he's not in a position where he can make it happen this year. He's bummed, he wants to. And he is really looking forward to coming back next year. But I think he's just having a rough go getting established in his new spot. But the noodle guy did confirm, and he's bringing a second booth also, so that's pretty good. I'm feeling really good about the food options we have this year.
Did you say noodles?
I did.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Trace Bros. Yeah. He said with his second booth, he'll do corn dogs, curly fries, and he'll do a barbecue piece to it. Said it won't be traditional barbecue, but it will be something barbecue. We looked at the coffee menus with Mallory. It looked like they will be acceptable between the two of them. Twisted Ice has lattes and cold brews, and it looked like I drink coffee to survive on it, but I don't go to the coffee shop and buy coffee, so I'm not really the right one to ask, but they have infused Red Bull type drinks. They've got Italian sodas.
So I talked to Emily and she said if she can get her husband to hook things up, she can have coffee.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
So-
our menus show with businesses.
Strictly,
Yeah,
she doesn't have hot coffee,
okay,
I think is what, like espresso. I think she can do cold brew, she said.
yeah.
But also,
Grumpy fair moms.
I'm sorry, what?
So there's gonna be some grumpy fair moms.
I can't remember. But also, Brew 22 always opened early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
that was my
That
next
was-
question is could we get one of
Would,
these guys? to
would
open early?
Shaved Ice open early?
I could have a conversation with her.
Like, I think he was open
They open like at 7.
7:30.
And there's always a line, like.
7:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's open early enough for the kids not to be late to,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Morning
20,
meetings at
20
8.
wait, first coffee.
I think we're right in the good spot for food, that I think there's enough food and enough variety that people should be happy with the options that we have. I think that it's not too much that the vendors will be upset that there's overlap and too much.
Yeah,
But we'll see, we'll just have to see this. As far as the other vendors, we have more vendors than we had last year, so, I'm feeling good about that as well. The application window closed on the beginning of the month. We have accepted a couple more, since it closed. They've called and we've talked with them. It just really depends on if we can get that work done, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where we've got so many other things that we're doing that, we'll have to have them hard close at some point. We're trying to work with people still as we can. What was the other one that? In my mind, oh, the fire department, yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
Basically, we said, you know, the fair goes all day, we'd like you guys to be here all day. And they said, well, we can't be there all day, so we're not coming. Like, okay, wait a minute, what if you come just part of the day? And, they haven't responded back with that.
they've never stayed all day.
Right. And so I had asked them, after he had said that they weren't coming, I had said, well, what if you guys can just come for part of the day? And I hadn't gotten a response back. I don't know if the number that I called though, thinking now, might have been their office phone and not his phone, so I was gonna follow back up on that. But Waleski Fire Department will be here for the concert and they will be here all day on Saturday. It's the other departments getting them all here, cause it was one department every day. It wasn't the
Mhm.
same fire department here all week.
What were the hours that they said they could come?
Jeremy's been the middleman, so I don't really know how their discussions have gone, but they would leave at 4 every time they were here before. Or if they had an emergency, they would leave.
Yeah,
The conversation was really around like first aid, like. You said last year they told us they would do the first aid for us, and then a couple days before the ferry goes, but you know, we leave at 4, right? And it's like. Okay, no, I didn't know that until you just told me that.
yeah,
So I'm still trying to work with them. What my plan right now is to have the army set up in that spot. Cause the army wasn't here on Saturday.
Yeah.
So that could work, that they're there Tuesday through Friday, and then Jeremy's team comes in and takes up that spot on Saturday.
Are we having a photo booth?
Oregon photo booth, he's not a vendor, we paid. So
Oh.
he was on that first,
He owned that.
on our budget sheet.
It was like 25.
The one that I had on
Oh.
the screen. We pay him $2,500 to be here.
that's super
So many
popular.
sheets.
Yeah, this is a good turnout, I think. This is building from last year.
Oh, it's good. I honestly, I'm happy with the food vendor, this part from the coffee part. Enjoy the
Yeah.
coffee, but, you know, I get it. But there's a fine balance between having too many food vendors to where it's saturated and nobody makes any money.
Yeah.
And offering all these variety to our community members that are coming up here, and we want to make sure our vendors do well.
Yes,
But at the same time, we want to have that.
we want them to
Those
come back
choices.
next year. We don't have much of a vendor presence, if, if they're not coming back here,
Yeah.
we have to find a new one every year.
Do we know why Brew 22 doesn't want to come?
I don't, he sounded like he was willing to have some discussion about that, but I don't think we know yet. He did say he wants to come back in the future, but that was.
He
what
said he'd see us around, but that he would talk to me later on maybe why he's not gonna be here. And I have sent lots and lots and lots of messages. I've gone by the shop lots too, so.
So there's no other coffee vendor that wants to come?
It's just a hard thing because it's not like when you have the drive-through coffee shops, I mean, they're espresso machines. It's not an easy thing to just pick up, move, have connected, have the water running through it. It's a huge ordeal. So the really neat thing through Brew 22 is they have the cart, they have everything in it.
Yeah.
So it's not like we could go to just any coffee shop and be like, hey, do you want to come? Do you want to do this? Because their setup just would not really be feasible for them.
Yeah.
So it's a really like niche thing to try to have happen.
Did anyone reach out to Kick-Ass Coffee? Because they used to do Relay for Life.
They did. I did mention that.
And I thought there were some coffee vendors that could come and like do the good coast thing and stuff like that, so
He did, Brew 22 did put to coast.
what did they?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's find this. I'll just put it.
The fair is the only time of year I buy coffee. Otherwise it comes out of that thing on the counter.
Guess you'll have to bring it, put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm coming down to your camp for coffee and donuts.
You bring the donuts down.
No, he always brings the
I make
donuts.
You're not camping, you're going down just to have that.
Yes.
Chicken Coop has coffee, just not fancy one.
Our office has coffee, not fancy stuff either.
What are we giving away?
Sharing is caring.
Not when I make it, 'cause I don't want to make coffee.
Oh,
So this is. The Lily Rose coffee.
What's Turkish coffee?
I do not know.
I will tell you, she has the cutest coffee cups. They have little men and women like mustaches. They're very cute.
And her crepes are
I also
literally to
recommend
die for.
the smoked salmon crepe. It is delicious.
Oh my God,
it's
it's so good.
Is this the one person who's coming?
This is coffee and there's two vendors that sell coffee. Well, I mean,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
more than two, like. ML Express sells coffee, but it's black coffee. It's not espresso, it's Josh.
I'm very surprised that they're coming, because they've always done the pro show across the river.
They have two carts now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they
Okay,
have
that's why
the
then.
big one and a small one.
Okay, that's why then.
Having the Italian sodas. Fresh brewed coffee, Turkish coffee.
And these open at 11.
Just strong
Yes,
coffee.
but they can open
Sure, yeah.
earlier if they
It's rich,
choose,
dark.
but we're not requiring them to open until.
People might be knocking on their doors. Oh,
Jet
Right,
fuel.
yeah, the same thing, like ML Express is open early too, they're selling donuts and coffee themselves.
yeah.
Let's look at this other one.
Joy found out that there wasn't gonna be a coffee vendor. She wants to set up
Do it.
a deal down in the campground.
Do it. I'm coming down for that.
She's
And
thinking
donuts.
about it.
Dude, they have, I mean, the little coffee, like, little mini ones, like, she could totally do that.
Yeah, hers just says coffee, shaved ice, soda, energy drink, ice cream. I had looked at her menu online and was able to find. It said.
Not crazy.
Yeah. No.
What is the content?
Or did I find her?
But
name?
we need to RV this for Friday though.
It has to come in on Thursday and it's just like Sunday. It's getting warm in here again.
July.
I don't know what you guys are working on right now. Would this be an appropriate time to, let you know about the East Blue things that? have
We would
come?
love that.
You would? Okay, I'll be brief because there's just a lot of record keeping. But the ODA put out last week, all waterfowl are still allowed to come to the fair. And if you're on our listserv tonight, you might have gotten this email. The waterfowl have to be tested and come back negative before fair starts. So any waterfowl that are here will have already been tested and will be okay. We're still gonna keep the turkeys up in barn C and the poultry over there for easy quarantine. We're gonna have a empty quarantine pen in the back of barn B because there are no animals back there for any animals to potentially get sick. Usually if animals get sick at the fairs because they're stressed and hot, and when you put them back in quarantine, they like calm down and can come back to the population afterwards, and so they'll be fine. So hopefully that's what happens with all of it. We have worked with Kristen and Kyle, and they're gonna have extra hand washing stations at the poultry barn entrances because that has been asked, and then I'll put up posters saying hand wash and everything. And then we'll keep records for 90 days after of the dairy, cattle, swine, waterfowl and poultry, if they, and their residents of origin before they came to the fair. So either that exhibitor's residence or, the place that they keep the animal at. And so those will be available afterwards. So it's a quick and easy update, but that's just kind of what's going on and what we're looking at.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yeah,
For the horses,
yeah.
with the dressage court, did that get
It
situated?
did. So I talked to Candy and Candy said that he would accept those, that's for, and so, Nisa emailed that to me.
Okay.
I have not cross-referenced the numbers to make sure it, let's say, but she emailed it, so I'm sure it does, so.
Okay,
I have those printed in the horse box now, so, yes, they said, she said she could live with that.
okay, awesome.
And, but I don't know who the second judge was. Cause I couldn't read their signature. I don't
At
have to
state?
know.
At OSET State?
Yeah, in May, cause
I-
Cassie was fine, one judge is fine, that's all we need, but if you know the name. You can text me.
Yes, I'll know the name, but yeah, I have to think about who was
Yeah.
there, but yeah, okay, I just want to make sure on that.
You have
Can
to
I-
record.
can-
The fair.
I have to know where they came from in case any of them. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I just wanted to mention that at the goat clinic the other weekend, Addie found a huge chunk of glass underneath her goat's hoof. So I think that we probably should do another sweep of that. I mean, it was a significant chunk of glass, and luckily she saw it before, her goat ground down on it or anything, So, but just I thought I'd mention that.
I think that's one
It
thing.
needs to be maybe stripped and redone. to be
With
honest.
the outdoor arena?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. That is one thing I'd probably let all the horse participants know, that before they go out there, maybe all the leaders, they could just shoulder to shoulder and comb it back and forth and stuff and pick it.
That's what we did last year.
And we did it last year.
Yeah.
And I think we did it the year before, and there's lots of glass, and you also find a lot of big rocks. So it just would be better to do that. And then, are you guys wanting like what they've done in the past still? I think Kelly would know where they're gonna have like the holding pen where they had last year, where they go in on that far rows and stuff. So does Kelly know all that to set that up again, like he has the last 2 years? I'd assume so, but, okay, all this, okay,
I'm gonna come out later this week and look it up and.
okay. Okay. And how many horses again?
Oh, yeah. Well.
It's more than I thought.
With
That's
the
good.
FFA.
Yeah, cause all the FFA are crossover FFA warriors that I have counted. Some of them will be housed with FFA on it, so that'll be cool to see FFA vendors.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
This was her menu that I pulled out. I mean, it says Americana, mochas, espressos, cold brews, lattes, cappuccinos. I mean, that looks like everything
They
that
must
you
have
would
added it.
need. But
Okay.
if she doesn't actually have that,
Well, she told me that she was gonna try to add it, so maybe they have got that done.
Whose menu is that?
the twisted ice.
I would make, like, it might be on there, but I would maybe just double check that's the case maybe.
And see if they can open early.
Not laughing at you, it's just like we want our coffee. Like,
Well, I'm-
if you aren't getting this by now, we want our coffee.
Just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Services, I mean, the main service is, we kind of went over those with the budget, but it's security. They're taking care of a lot of event staff for us. We'll be trying to get Job Corps kids out here again to help fill in, mostly with the inflatables and as we do everywhere else. I need to talk flagging for after the concert still. There's not much dollars there, but we gotta, it's gotta happen. Tom's got the people movers sorted out with volunteers for that, so that's an important service.
Did we get the top done?
Not yet. I had a personal issue this afternoon and was not able to, I was in town going there and was diverted.
Okay. If it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
Which we don't know, right? The sunshade that we had on it for the parade will work really well. It worked good. It looked nice.
And the parade was awesome.
It
Good.
was tight. If it if it does have rain in the forecast and plans, I have a tarp that's that exact same size, a white tarp. It's not like a gray or a blue tarp, it's white. So it would look like, a tent cover. It takes 15 minutes to take that thing off.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like the clampets.
It looked nice.
Good.
I think the tarp is probably gonna give you some of that greenhouse effect under it. It might turn a little swampy underneath, but if it's raining,
Well, you're not on it very long, so.
yeah. But the sunshade, I thought it worked well, and
Yeah.
we're trying to get a new cover made. Marketing, I hit that, what we're doing, and one of the big ones that we need to do is get these signs posted around town.
I'm taking
Um,
some.
And then get flyers out. That's really, I think, probably the big labor push that we're gonna need to go on the big step of our marketing. The other thing we wanna do is get 3 or 4 or 5 posts per day scheduled between now and the fair, where it's, each one of the food vendors is getting its own post. Each one of our activities is getting its own post. We're hitting the concert basically each day or every other day, rotating in the 2 concerts. Is really coming up with a schedule where these are popping out every day, letting people know about all the stuff we have going on. I think with the commercial vendors, we'll probably group that stuff into some categories. But I think the food vendors could use their own post for each one. That's our goal, is to just try to really hit with the social and get flyers out, and then we're doing Spotify, digital ads, radio ads, Ghost Weekend ads, Facebook ads. We're trying to market it. I'm not sure what we used to do besides just word of mouth and radio. Because this digital stuff has really changed in the last handful of years. We're going, that's one of the pieces we're gonna have to continue to learn, how to get our message out in front of people.
Yeah.
Sponsors, we were at 56K on the concert sponsorship. Sarah sent the message this afternoon and said that Hampton is in for a sponsorship, but it wasn't clear what level yet. If they do a gold, that will put us over our minimum budget, which is great to hit a goal. If they do platinum, then that would be fantastic as well. That'll get us over there. If they do silver, I don't know if we'll make our goal yet, but it'll be right in there.
Did we only allow 1 platinum?
2
Or did we say 2? Okay.
2 platinums, I think unlimited golds.
I have
Question.
one more sponsor pending too, so I should know by tomorrow morning.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
That's great.
Real, just speaking of Hampton, do you want me to reach out to Lindsay? Because Lindsay has been the one that goes up on the stage and announces, like she did last year. Announces like who our sponsors are and like kind of gets the crowd going. Do we want her back again or?
I think she does a great job at it. That works for me.
Okay,
If you
I will
guys-
reach out and ask her because I don't.
Unless anybody else has a different idea or she doesn't want to do it, then I
Okay,
think.
I will reach out to her.
I think she has done a good job. I've seen her on video and stuff.
Yeah.
She's got a great voice for it.
Yeah,
I did called and talked to her earlier this week about wood chips. shavings. So we're trying to get that sorted out. She's gonna call me back. They did have that fire,
Mhm.
and so that's kind of interrupted their operations a little. It might be close to the deadline when we get the stuff here. I'm confident that we'll get them. It's just what day will they be here?
Yeah.
Is the question, and what is like a hard last day that they can't come after? Even. I mean, I don't really wanna be dealing with it once the fair started, but I have seen at other fairs where they bring in loads throughout the fair, because
Yeah.
they don't have the space to store everything, but I'm confident it'll work out. I just don't know what they have ready to ship at this point. And their thing is this weekend, they're having company barbecue here this weekend.
Yeah.
So they will be around. Yeah, we were gonna have some conversation about auction. Really a schedule for everything they need throughout the week. And what we want to do with them moving forward. We've got our concert happening at the same time. So, you all, whatever you all want that conversation to do.
Can I talk for a sec?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that, it feels weird that if we're getting rid of the animals right after the auction, that people come to see the animals and they're paying to get in to see the animals. And now it puts the fairgrounds in kind of an awkward situation, right? How do we charge people to come in when they can't even see what they're going to want coming to see? So I know we can't obviously change it this year, but I think we really, really, really need to stand our ground on this, because that doesn't look good for us.
I don't disagree.
I don't either. I think that honestly, with us having a concert going on that night and animals getting loaded, it could cause some problems.
The steers are one thing, the lambs and pigs are another.
Yeah, I
Steers
think,
live quietly, the others don't.
no, and I think people that have never experienced that, we're all fair people. We've experienced it. We're used to it, but those that have never, it could cause some problems.
I also think there's a lot of people that can only come to the fair on Saturday because they can't afford to take a day off work, especially in this economy. And
Yes.
the barn is basically closed as soon as auction starts, because you can't maneuver through during auction, especially if you have a stroller or you have someone in a wheelchair. That it's just, and then if the barn is immediately closed after that, I mean, you would hate to spend the money to come see the animals and then you can't.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the horses can't leave. They have their stuff till Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
So
They're
the other
here
horse.
because everybody wants to see the horses.
And I think for me, the frustrating thing is the lack of communication. Like, we've asked and asked and asked for them to participate in communication, and I think we get some from one, but even our liaison that's supposed to be notified when the meetings are, finds out when the meetings are 2 hours before the meeting. And it's on the same day as a fair board meeting, so then she can't go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're all trying for the common good to like have an amazing fair for not only the kids that are in fair, but for the community. And when we're going out for bond measures and things like that, and we're asking the community to support us, and then they come to the fair and they can't. Like, what little kid doesn't want to look at the piglets?
Yeah.
Things like that. It seems like everybody is trying to work together and we're swimming upstream with the auction committee.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Mhm.
But personally, I would, this year, we're already right there. I think they're planning on loading out. They've already got it scheduled with mats and everything. I don't think that there's anything that we should do this year. I don't think before 7, they should be moved at all. They should need to stay in place at least until 7 o'clock.
When's the concert on Saturday again?
Doors open at 6, the opening act will start at 6:30.
Crank that music.
Yeah, well, if we load it, go ahead.
Are they loading at 7? Is that the?
Well, I think that's the schedule. As soon as everything's done, they're gonna start load out right around 7 o'clock.
Well, they have to wait until
They'll gotta wait for all the
all
paperwork's
the
done.
paperwork's
Yeah.
done, and then Cassie has to run all the paperwork to know what pigs are going where, right, all the animals. So that takes like an hour or so. I mean, I know Jack's like, and it's like, you can only go so fast, because then
Yeah.
there's a lot of mistakes made, and then animals go in the wrong places. So, I don't know, and the auction starts at 2, it's not even gonna get done until 6. There's a lot of animals this
Yeah,
year. I mean, so it might be a little bit.
they
late.
won't be loading out before 7, regardless.
I just think that we are going to be very high profile this year with having a concert at the same time. And I think the most impactful year is that for our bond is probably going to be this year. And it just kind of sucks, but I know we can't do anything now, but it just kind of is going to make it a little harder for us because like everyone said, people that are going to the concert, they are not all people that are acquainted with the fact that animals go to market, and it just kind of is going to be a rough one, I think, this year.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But you know, we could always do something like after 6 p.m. on Saturday, just free admission. You know, that would something you could do. And the other thing that I was thinking about as far as loading out the animals, you know, if we load out on the outdoor horse arena side, we've done that in the past for years.
Yeah.
Block it off.
And yeah, you'd have to block off traffic for sure. Well, there's no traffic there anyway, aside from the trucks that would load out, but yeah, pedestrians, of course. But I think that would be a good compromise for this year, and then moving forward, you know.
Have a conversation with them as a joint meeting
Yeah.
with them, and we.
But we've asked them to come to the meeting and then they don't come.
Yeah.
We asked them to come to the last.
I think that we just need to stand our ground. I think that, you know, like Callie said multiple times, we need an MOU with them. We can't continue to do this without a guarantee that they're going to even show up. We just need to figure out what we want to do and say, this is what we need to happen. And if this doesn't happen, we're going to have to figure it out. Right.
Well, and we have an MOU with 4-H and FFA and the 4-H Association, just so that we know what's expected, and they also, like, this is a partnership. And that is not a partnership.
I do know one thing that the auction committee is, we've really got one choice for a butcher, right? There's really only one
totally
person that can
agree.
do it. So one thing that they are trying to do is keep that guy happy. And keeping him happy is not staying up until 4 or 5 in the morning loading animals. And so I understand where they're coming from.
The same guy that closed out at 3 a.m. out of Columbia County.
I know, but that's the other part too. If
Other
you
fairs they do later.
if you talk to the other fairs,
Yeah.
they're all overnight or Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
so I understand where they're coming from, is trying to keep them happy, but on the
But
other end,
also
they do
it's
it
only-
all the time.
It's only one person saying that that's what it has to be.
Yeah.
Nobody else is allowed to make any phone calls.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know there's no other fair in the state that loads out before the fair's over.
That's correct.
I also know that some fairs, like Kate said, load out Sunday morning at 3 a.m.
Yeah, having an early day instead of a late day.
I also know that Matt loves butchering our fair
Yes.
because the kids are always hands-on.
And we went on a tour there today. These guys went, there was only 9 of us that went. It was awesome. I mean, it was the best. I was like, I learned so much today. We were like, wow, this is cool. We saw the whole thing up on the hill where they butcher. We watched him butcher a half a steer in like 20 minutes. I mean,
I know, he's so impressive.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And he really is a great guy. He's
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah, yes.
He's very, very nice.
His wife gave
Yes.
us the tour, so we
Yeah.
really had the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I just think we have to all be on the same team.
Mhm.
And we are not all on the same team right now.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm willing to work along with everybody to make it work, just like Matt said. I think that's a good solution, is to try to get through this fair, but making it clear in the future, these are our expectations, the board's expectations.
I think,
My main concern is just that there be some kind of conflict during the fair. And that would be the only thing that I hate to see happen.
Yeah.
I think everything else we can manage and we can get through. It's unfortunate, yeah, that, you know, people are still showing up and wanting to see the animals, and that's a big part of our fair.
Yeah.
But
I
it
think
is,
it needs-
it is getting, it's not the 11th hour yet, but it's pretty damn close to it.
I think it needs to be earlier than 6 that you get in free. Cause that was gonna be my suggestion also. I think it needs to be, I think it needs to be like
Maybe
5.
5.
4.
3,
What time's auction start?
2. I mean, I would not walk in the barn during auction myself. It's so much, it's so chaotic in there.
Good time to look at the bunnies.
Yeah, but so let's say we move that back for next year. We don't have that loadout happening. Is that still, are we still opening the barn up at 3?
No.
Or the fairgrounds up at 3?
No.
So why would the auction change that?
It's not well, I mean, it's the loadout, because if you come at 3 and you wait for the barn to open back up after auction,
Yeah, I could understand that.
but are the barns not opening back up?
But there's nothing there to look at, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
I know last year it was like, oh, you go up there and look while we load over here, and I'm like, I couldn't even watch, I had to leave, I was like, I can't have it. So I had it.
And we're trying to draw in a whole separate
Yeah.
portion of our community during that time as well.
Yeah,
I think we're also trying to teach the community about care for animals.
Yeah.
And we know that they're fine. We know that loading squealing pigs are fine. Not everybody does.
No.
And with social media now, I mean,
You're gonna have.
it's gonna
people-
just take one time for things to, screaming pigs and.
If you've never.
We
heard
had,
it, I was
we-
like, oh, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not like the kids walking them down the aisle, it's, I mean.
Yeah.
it's
Well, and you
pushed
also
up.
have a lot of the kids their first year, they're crying, they're hugging their pigs, and then,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and.
Go ahead, Sarah.
oh, I was just gonna say, we did have PETA come and video us that one year when we were all took by surprise that they were loading out during the day. And that floated around all over the place, and we don't need that again right before a bond bid, or, a bond vote year. So we just also probably should be very, really attentive of who's hanging around, looking like they're videoing. Maybe security could watch that evening.
When people's cell phones out of their hands.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I just because it's, like you said, it's loud. People are going to come look and just, it's, yeah.
I also think
I
there's a
don't
lot.
like that part. And I do this for, I do this all the time, but I'm never there for loadout because I want to kiss them all and hug them all and tell them that I'm sorry and that I love them and that they've done us good. But yeah.
I also think that we all know in this room that it's not just the fairgrounds that runs the fair,
Yes.
but all the negativity comes on the fair board. So if somebody doesn't like something, it's these people at the table who takes the fall for the complaints. And one of the many complaints we got last year was there was no animals to see on Saturday. So those complaints come to us and they think it's our decision, which is not our decision this time. So I just think there's a lot of moving pieces not everybody thinks about.
Why is that time
But
not
it is
changeable?
your decision, cause you're allowing them to do what they're doing.
Well, so this year, I personally think it's a little bit unreasonable 3 weeks before the fair, when Matt's already probably communicated to his haulers and stuff to be like, no, we're not loading out at night. We're gonna switch everything to Sunday morning.
well, I mean, even if they did,
How many,
10 o'clock.
since last year, we've been having this discussion.
Yeah,
It needs to
is
change.
that an assumption or is that a positive?
I mean, I just.
Oh, it's an assumption for sure.
The word, what is it, if you don't ask, the answer's no, like, I mean,
Yeah.
what if we, one of us called the person and said, hey, can we have a joint call? And can we have just a quick, conversation so we all get the same story and have a clear understanding if this is a possibility, and if they say it's not a possibility this year, then, we can maybe talk about next year's restoration.
We aren't going to say maybe. We are going to talk about next year. Like, we can't keep doing this. And I doubt he'll take a joint phone call. I'm sorry, but
I think if there's a joint phone call to be made, it needs to be Matt Bellingham.
sorry, Matt, it's going to have to be, but I will do it with you, Matt.
There isn't anybody else that
Mallory said she
the
didn't
president
answer.
likes.
I've been,
I'm teetering on the fence these days.
Does he stick his tongue out at you when you drive by his house?
Yes.
Matt
Matt
is a nice guy.
Matt is a nice
He's
guy.
easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah,
All right. I will make the phone call.
okay, and I don't
Thank
like
you.
it, to be honest either, so.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
When I talked to him last year, it sounded like there was all kinds of options.
Yeah,
I've backed away from having any of those conversations.
Yeah, so we'll move forward with that, see where we're at this year. I honestly, I'm in favor of leaving it this year. I will call and I will ask. If there's any way we can change that. And, but I'll also communicate moving forward. Like,
Next year.
we're not doing this anymore. So animals will stay in place until the end of fair.
I would also like
Yeah.
in August meeting to discuss the MOU with the auction committee, and I would like it done in 2 months. I would also like 4-H's and FFA's done in 2
Sandra
months.
retired.
Yes.
Is Sandra retired?
yes, Jenny.
Yes,
You didn't
and
know that? She's retired.
End of December.
yeah, I'd definitely want to get those done, and we need to address the associations MOUs also, because they actually expire at the end of the year.
Really just
Yeah.
took your spot.
Oh.
We can't take her spot.
Lori?
I'm close to
Yeah,
retirement.
I'll add that to our calendar for that.
Sandra.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity to add something up.
Yeah, right. All right.
FFA wasn't on the radio ad today either.
The radio.
It said all these great things about everything that was going on in the fair and 4-H, but it didn't mention FFA,
Which channel?
the country station.
103.9.
I have FFA added in mine.
I know we tried to, but we missed it. It easily happens. When I give them I sit down and have a conversation with her about all the stuff and she runs with it. And it's like, okay,
Thanks for
sounds
pointing that
good.
out. I appreciate that.
Sounds good, let's get it.
There also is one other thing on the loadout thing. If you had a day like today or this week, it's not very pleasant on the
Yeah.
animals either.
6 o'clock is still gonna be too long for us.
That's really one of the reasons they used to do it late. Well, I mean, the auction was later, but that was it.
Yeah.
There's other reasons.
One last thing that I'll show you before we move on. Sorry. Sheets on top of sheets. There's a lot of moving pieces. And this has just been the working sheet here to get all the stuff booked. We'll make this into something fancier and we'll share this. But this is the stage schedule.
Oh,
Greg Park, Reptile Show, Magic Shop, Chris McNeary, Reptile Show, Bruce Smith, that's Tuesday. Wednesday, Barbara Gadash, John Orrs, that's Magic Shop, Desert Sims. United Way Watermelon, Talent Show, followed by Bingo.
Are you gonna start posting this?
Yeah, we'll do a post for each one of these bands separately as well. One of the things is getting their marketing information from all of them, like finding
Yeah,
a photo or a logo for each one of them. Some of them have it and they're like right away, some are like, I'll record it this weekend, or I'll get some photos this weekend. Yeah, so the Reptile Show, we booked the guy for 2 days, he's gonna do 2 shows a day on Monday or Tuesday and on Friday. Magic Shop's doing a show each day, plus he's gonna do 2 grounds acts each day as well, but he's got 1 on the stage each day. Chris McNeary, the Spunk Junkies is the one that we just rebooked. This is a bunch of like high school band teachers that have a band. So that should be pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Icons of Rock, that's the CC Poison, Roger James. That should be pretty good for a Thursday night show. And majority, probably more than 50% of these are Clatsop County bands, which I think is really what our mission should be. We're showcasing the citizens of our community, of our county. Win Alexander for Friday morning, the Reptile Show, Kai and Shane, Jake Bassett's coming back again. And we put these 2 shows at the night on Friday so that there's not music on the stage, Reptile Show stuff. Shanghai's gonna do a skit on Saturday morning. This will be like the week before their final run for the season, so they're gonna hopefully get some fans to come to their thing. Fashion review, and then we booked these 2 Mexican bands to play in the afternoon on Saturday. And then the folk dancing group come in at 6. And then we put Seth on during the concert, during the Selena concert. don't have anything for after it. I thought maybe you'd just set up the projector and put a movie or something on for the rest of the night. Since I expect it to slow down pretty well. Last year, I think there was 2 people watching the band.
Yeah.
At the end of the
I
night.
felt sorry for that guy.
They had probably one of the better bands that we had too. They were good.
Is Bailey doing a dance on Friday?
She hasn't been asked to. So,
Well, it's not usually us, is it?
no, I think 4-H.
Yeah, that's 4-H.
Oh, you mean a barn dance?
I just asked her to DJ via text message. I got this.
Oh, there's.
Okay. So, yeah, that's
Always better.
the stage schedule.
There you go.
We will be working on a full fair schedule and trying to, I can't necessarily put every single thing from 4-H into the fair schedule, but we'll try to put the highlights, like the pig and the beef show and the auction. But, you know, every single, or we'll just say, see the 4-H schedule, because they have a completely different schedule. It would be the whole thing.
I have one question backing up to the concert, and I know we've been here a long time already.
Yeah.
But Friday, we always have the national anthem. On Saturday, are we also having the national anthem, or is there a Spanish for,
I think we should
don't wanna say the
definitely
wrong
have the national anthem, but if we want to do a separate one also, I can ask Cornelia, who I've been working with.
like, I think we should have someone sing the national anthem, but
Yeah,
In Hispanic.
yeah, in Spanish. Like,
Have the FFA grade speaker come stay the FFA Spanish Greek. Oh, that is.
Elena,
That would be cool.
yeah. I'm not sure how what normally happens for a Hispanic event.
Maybe-
Open it up.
maybe touch base about that,
Yeah, I'll ask that question.
because we definitely don't wanna, I mean,
Offend them.
that's important, I think.
It's gonna have.
Okay.
Options too, though. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the work session. You know, we ran a little late, but it's our last meeting before the fair. And it was, we could have gone into all of that stuff with a lot more detail. So I ignore the snapshot that you all just got for that. It was a good snapshot, but there's more.
All right, well, we're gonna call our regular meeting to order. All members are present with Sarah online. We need to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay, at this time. Address the fair board. When recognized, give a name and address. All remarks will be addressed to the fair board, limited to 3 minutes per person.
I am representing the 4-H Association. My name is Faith Samuelson, P O Box 1128, Astoria, Oregon, 97103. We have turned in our application to be a vendor at the fair. On the application, it was a 15% vendor fee. This year, we invested $4,500 in putting a new hood in the chicken coop so that it was not smoky and safe and up to fire code. And we were wondering if we could ask for a little bit of a smaller percentage, maybe 10% instead of 15 this year to help us offset the $5,000, $4,500 hood. If you guys would consider that.
Thank you. Did we want to discuss that now, or you guys want to discuss that later?
I want to discuss that now.
No.
No,
Was that a meow?
that was, well, it's a now, but I could say meow.
I have no problem with it. I think, you know, you guys investing in that building is good. I mean, we use that very sparingly, but it gets used for us too. And I would be good with like a 5%.
But they also donate money to all of our pens. All the new pens we have bought, they donate money to also.
Yeah, I like the 5%, Matt. That's a good idea.
5%.
You have a motion?
I make a motion that Forest Association pay 5% as a vendor rather than 15.
I second.
I second. Oh,
Okay,
Neater.
all opposed? All in favor?
I,
I,
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Porch Association will pay 5%. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You have a ballpark idea what that difference would be?
I think last year we paid you guys just shy of $2,000, at 10%.
We'll update that information.
Okay, rolling into the consent calendar. That is probably just our agenda or our minutes from the last meeting, yeah?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the 6-4 meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, Sarah? Apparently not.
I'm good. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so moving into board member reports. Let's start with Mallory. Do you have anything to report? Anything you're working on behalf of the Fair Board?
Nope, just reached out to a couple different people for sponsorships, going to the STDA Chamber, South County to talk about the fair. And then also using some of our radio ad space at the bank for the fair and having people come and do all of that, so.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Brittany?
Kelly's on board for his RV. It'll be here sometime on Thursday. Got that taken care of. Like we talked about earlier, the van from Lums is ours unless they sell it. So trying to work on something else. I know Encore does have a van. I don't know. I was gonna try to talk to Encore and see if they would be willing to possibly.
If they sell it, would they be willing to ask contingency? We could,
I already
you know,
asked her that. They
make
said-
that rental payment for the first one or something.
Yeah, so I will reach out to her again and ask about that as well. And then I'll reach out to Lindsay, and then we do need to have somebody for national anthem, so if anybody has any ideas on that.
And there was a note in the minutes that Katrina said she may have
Oh, that she might
a
have,
printer somewhere.
yes.
So we can, I had a very long conversation with her today. We're supposed to connect again later this week. I will try to remember to ask her about that.
On that, when will we know from Cage if we're gonna need 2 of those? Because we don't know if, I know I keep asking this, I need to know if Joe and Cass are gonna be able to ride together, or do they need separate transportation? If that's the case, do we, we will need 2 vans, we will need 2 drivers, it makes it a lot different than having somebody else, cause it's an upcoming star, you know what I mean, like.
Let me try
That's
to,
huge
difference. Is there a time that you think would work for you that I could try to schedule a phone call with them?
Thursday, I could, Thursday morning.
Today she sent a very, very preliminary draft schedule, but it only has the Joe Nichols. It only has Thursday and Friday. And so I responded back, said, this doesn't have any of the labor needs, which is one of the big things I need to know is when we need labor there. That it doesn't have anything for Saturday. And so that was hoping to get a bigger picture that then we can talk about. But the way I understand it, it was one van and then like another car or a pickup for
Use my black belt.
separate.
Well, I have my truck,
Not-
I mean.
Not necessarily
after
2
they
vans,
cook it
but
and-
there could be the potential to need to be running 2 different people in 2 different directions.
Well, and like last year, I know my mom did go pick up the bus driver for Sawyer Brown. She's available if she needs to help pick up and stuff, but I just wanna,
One of the questions that I had was, since this is a fly show and since we did a buyout.
like, what is all of our responsibility? Cause it
Right.
is different than any other act we've had
Right.
coming in.
My assumption is that they've rented their car and they're driving into town with a rental car. That's my guess. But
Well, we need to know because if they're expecting us to pick them up at the airport.
they're not, no.
Okay,
That's in the
'cause I don't
contract.
have
Yeah.
time for that.
That's in the
That
contract.
stresses me out.
What I would, Eric looked at that, and I don't have it all in writing, so it's just off of the conversation. Maybe it was paid. that Joe was gonna be here the day before and that his band was coming in that morning.
Okay.
So there probably isn't gonna be anything to drive the band around because they're just gonna show up, I think. We're at that point where we need to have a production meeting, what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
I need details because like in the past, they went to, where's their hotel room? Are they gonna be showering in their hotel room? Because in the past, they went to a hotel and just showered for 3 hours. And then they left, and then we picked them up and brought them back, because they came, they rehearsed. And then we took them, they showered, and then we brought them back. And that's what we even did with Trace. We didn't with Sawyer Brown. Cause they were in Seaside and we had to drive all the way to Seaside and pick them up. So that's also another thing, like where are they staying? 'Cause that adds, traffic is already horrible. And to have to go down to Seaside like we
Yeah.
did with Sawyer Brown was stressful.
One of the questions that they have asked is if we can coordinate somebody to sell Joe Nichols merchandise. Said,
Oh, my mom would do
said
that.
he'd be willing to pay $125.
She'd be so good at it too.
To pay somebody to do that.
My mom will probably, she's already like, I'll do whatever you need.
I thought that was nice.
I said,
she-
is there an age, like, can it be a teenager or what? He said, what's more important is that they have some experience with retail.
My mom could do that.
I mean, it's just selling shirts and
Yeah.
CDs and
Yeah.
pictures. I'm assuming.
Um,
And it sounded like Joe was going to be sitting there after the performance at the merch tent. Meeting.
Perfect.
Meeting fans, selling merch.
That's cool.
I'm gonna love Wild Jill.
It's not wild, it's crazy.
We,
It's great.
we really do need to boost our sales. Our sales are still low. 250 is all we have for fee tickets. And then we have the 600 VIP tickets, so we've really got to, I feel like we've got the word out there.
I would really like to, and then
And
also,
our tickets are cheap. It's not like they're expensive.
no, but to go back to, and then for the band on Saturday, we're not doing any transportation, nothing with that, correct?
That's a good question. I think we probably need to have some,
So we need to have a meeting with them like sooner than later, because if they need what Friday's bands are requiring, that just puts a whole nother
load. Yeah.
load on us,
Yeah.
you know?
You know that they're playing the next day in Redmond.
Who?
The
The
Selena Tribute.
the Selena, okay.
Yeah, they're playing Sunday night, so I don't know if they're gonna be getting on the road and heading to Redmond, or if they're gonna go to a hotel and then wake up early and,
Yeah.
and head out.
Okay, so if we could do a conference call with Paige and then we get that finalized, and I would like to do a concert committee meeting maybe with us, and then maybe get Tony involved or in step two, because we need to really hone down on what's going on and how many steaking chairs we're really setting up.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went to, saw Jordan Davis and Ashley Cook and do Ten Penny, and that was in Bend, not one chair.
Right.
Not one chair, and our tickets for no chair to be, get in early access and all that, and I'm going to Jason Aldean and paid $300. I don't get a chair for $300.
We've been telling people they can bring chairs in, but I think our plan is to put marks down to say no chairs in this box.
Well, and the thing is when you go to Hayden Amphitheater, which is an amazing venue, is if you wanna bring your chair, you're like barricaded, you're up,
Past the line.
you're past the line and you're in the grass that's sitting up top. But if you want to, I mean, you can weasel your way to the front row if you want to,
Right.
you know? And so I think we need to really,
Maybe we could spray a line on the grass.
Yeah.
Like chairs behind the line.
And this is great conversation to have at our concert committee.
Yeah, so
What I'm
if we could
thinking
start-
is off to the side, like a little box that's handicap.
you could do, and
And
it's
then
spray paint.
another line that's no chairs in front of this
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so if we could, we need to have a meeting, so, okay.
I'll try to get Paige and Eric lined up for a meeting on Thursday. I know,
Okay.
I talked to Brady this morning also,
Mm-hmm.
and he had some questions he was waiting to hear back from, but they're just getting to the point where they're starting to hear from the tour. 'Cause They don't even have the answers to the questions until the band advances it.
Okay,
So we're getting right there.
okay, if we could get that, that's all I have. That's kind of what I'm working on, so.
Kelly,
I have nothing.
Sarah? Do you have anything
Yes.
you were,
I do. Like Kyle said, I've been talking to Lindsay at Hampton. Hampton Lumber is in for sponsorship for the concert. They're asking the chip mills to, if they want to participate in that so they can get a higher level of sponsorship. And then I am working with Kylie for AWE and Glasgow. He bought out Glasgow. I don't know if you guys knew that, but to do a sponsorship as well. So those are my two things that I've been working on. That's it.
Thank you. The only thing I was working on, I said last time that I would contact Ashley Olson. I was able to do that, and she was very pleased with the changes that we made. She was very, very happy, and she's looking forward to the fair. I did send you guys an email. She doesn't have an actual placard. It'd be nice if we could just get her a placard so we don't have any issues made up and put that with her camping stuff.
We'll do the same thing. I haven't talked with Raina yet, but she called saying she has a broken foot.
Yeah.
I'll make the same thing for her, and then Melissa as well. Nisa. Nisa. There hasn't been any other folks that have come asking so far, but I'll connect with Sandra to just make sure she knows that we have this limited capability to help accommodate people that are here all day.
Yeah.
That's the thing, they're here all day.
And also, this is totally something different, but if we're doing matching shirts, we need to figure that out sooner than later. And pink pants, before, 10 days before fair board.
I have.
Yes, please.
That's
I've
stressful.
still got my shirts from last year. I don't see.
Where's your yellow pants that I?
We need American flag pants with American flag logo.
I'm not wearing those. Those are actually disrespectful. You're not supposed to wear the flag as clothing.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in the, if you look at our, not
Code, flag
bylaws, if
code.
you look at the flag code for the country, it's disrespectful.
Oh,
I didn't know
who
that.
knew?
We have,
Matt knew.
the fellow from Columbia Screen Printing is supposed to stop by this week. We were talking about shirts and hats, and it sounded like the prices were really reasonable at this $8 range.
Yeah, Mallory made ours.
But our goal would be to get some for the staff and the volunteers
Yeah.
to have, and then potentially have some to sell. Our goal, I think, would be to try to go with that blue color that's on our, our sign up front. I know Kelly is very clear, doesn't want black because it gets too hot in the black. But I think that blue kind of fits with our theme and our brand. So if we can get something close to that, that's what we were gonna shoot for.
Okay.
Let's work on that so we have all.
All right. Moving down to the manager's report.
Okay, we're really just we're heavy in fair planning.
Yeah.
We're struggling with recruiting, but I do have 4 people lined up. 2 of them were for the week before, which are the ones that are further down the process than the other 2 that I really need to start like today. But they both accepted the verbal offers. We're just going through the HR part where they've got to do their background check, all of the recruiting stuff. I've been begging HR to help expedite as much as possible. I understand they have policies, but at the same time, these are really the first viable candidates. And we wanted folks to start, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So anything they can do to help us, we're leaning on them to help us out. We've got the RFP out for the building assessment to move on with this roof project. I've sent it to 5 or 6 firms to look at. I've had conversations with most of them. They seem interested. One group asked today if we could extend the deadline for the proposals a week. So I'll amend our RFP and notify the other people that I notified. Basically, I think with it being a holiday, we announced it right before the holiday and then came back right after the holiday. They've got to coordinate with their subcontractors in order to come up with a good proposal. So we'll push it a week, which is still a lot further than we were. Trying to think of what else. It's just been trying to get the place cleaned up and get out of the event season. Scandinavian Festival seemed to be very well attended, and it was warm for them. I don't think they had any problems. The only problem that I had, that I kept hearing them say was the soap. The hand soap dispensers kept giving them the fritz. It's like, okay, well,
Oh, that was at the same as the FFA banquet.
yeah.
They kept not working.
And so we'll get those replaced at some point.
I don't know if I said this, but the Scandinavian, someone stopped me and said that the floor was better than it's ever been. That
I've
there
heard
was,
that from a couple people.
there was no lift, there was no tripping. They said it was perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's helped though, too, that we put it down for Crab
And then
Fest
leave it.
and we've left it instead of up and down and two, you know what I mean? I think that's been the best thing that we could have done is just leave it down instead of up and down.
and we put extra effort into it and it was worth it. I mean,
Mhm.
based off of feedback, but also knowing that you're not putting it down and taking it up, putting like that work was well worth the time.
Yeah.
And then adding events in it to coordinate with that flooring. So I think that
Yeah,
was a good.
we're already tentatively working on some other events for next year. There's a dog event that is trying to come in. We'll do another concert, maybe 2 concerts. We have a group that saw the floor when it was down that wants to do a wedding in there in December. And so I told them we'll have to figure out what that means, how that we can get that done, because
Do they wanna do it in there because it's
they want a big party.
okay.
It's so ugly.
Yeah.
Can I say something? About the Scandinavian Festival, when they came to put their signage up out in Napa, I spoke with a couple of them and they did like this really intense survey on what got the most people to actually go to their event, and it was signage, roadside signage. So I just thought maybe we could pick their brains at some point, because I think that that's useful information. Like how did they do that? What kind of survey did they run? Is this something we should be utilizing? Because that's pretty cool.
I agree 100%. We've made 100 like campaign type signs that we need to get posted out. Granted, they're not the same as what they have. They had some pretty massive signs that they put out. I think at the very least, even if we got those locations from them, where did they put the signs? Because that's half of it. It's like where do we put it, and then making a sign that fits that location. Because it's
I
not
know that
terrible.
they do like the
Sign.
main highways. And then I know that they also do, and the roundabout in Astoria. So like, I think but I think talking to them would be a good thing because they have a lot of information on it. So.
We've got the 2 sign spots reserved starting Monday, and we have 4x8 banners to put at them, the one by the roundabout and the one by the Coast Guard Exchange. And then we have the 2 3x5 banners that we had made to put on the float for the parade that we need to find locations to put those.
We have the community gardens down in Seaside. They've got like the really cute little train
Oh, that's a good
boost
idea.
thing. And then all the community gardens, they would probably easily go on that.
Do you
And
think
then-
I could give you one if you could take it and try to get them to put it up? Yep.
You can
If
put
you
anything.
give, I was gonna say, if you give me one, I can put it on side of Highway 30, in Teven Brother property.
Okay, do you need like a plywood backing or can it just be a banner?
I have an Andrew that can make sure the banner gets hung up. Great.
And
So
then
the banner would be fine.
Do we normally put it on like the chamber board at all or?
That's
ask the
what it's
chamber?
talking about, the roundabout and in the Coast Guard Exchange.
No, but like they have like the little sign thing. the
They have a
little-
reader board. at the
Reader
chamber.
board, thank you,
Oh.
whatever it's called.
Oh.
Both chambers have reader boards that we could have, maybe ask them to run something on it. The furniture place in Seaside also has something. We have a reader board as well, if they could get into it.
Okay, maybe you and I can hop on a call tomorrow and we could just try to write down a list of all
Yeah.
these locations and we
Cause
can.
I can bring those to the city of Seaside and put them in the yard there, as well as Sunset Empire and in front of ours, and that's all on direct strip.
Yeah, and if we have to have more banners made, the 3x5 banner on Amazon was like $60, but there's local, like we were talking with Anchor Graphics, he says he can do them and it was cheaper than what we could buy them online, but his machine was broken. It's like, I can't make your deadline. Like,
But what-
I'm gonna
And
have
then
to-
Canva is super cheap too,
Yeah.
to order them and they're quick.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you did our banners.
I compared both of them. It was a little cheaper on Amazon, but, cause I was like, well, cause I made the graphic in Canva. I was like, buy now. Or it's like, no, it was like $30 more for an 8 foot, 4x8, not for a 3x5.
I'll have Junior get up on our menu board and put two.
Okay.
County Fair.
I do really think, like Sarah was hinting at, like, all of the digital marketing, all of the radio marketing, all of the social media marketing, I think that the flyers and the sign probably get more exposure than anything else because you're putting it out in front of people.
Could I just make a suggestion about the Facebook posts?
Yep.
They're 5 paragraphs too long.
Yeah.
They're very impersonal feeling. I think if you did shorter blurbs, like a lot of information in 2 sentences, spaced out, instead of 3 paragraphs, nobody's reading that. I'm not even seeing the posts and I'm a page manager. So I think we need to have shorter with more information and the links in the main post.
Like the first comment is the links.
No comments, in the post. I will not open a post to look at the comments to see if there's a link. So if you post the picture first, then the words, then the link,
Yeah.
it'll be a shareable post. So like Joe Nichols tickets on sale, arrow down, emoji, link.
Yeah.
With a picture of Joe Nichols, but you have to post the Joe Nichols picture first, otherwise it's gonna post the link thumbnail.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting too many words in the Facebook post.
And then I think trying to like for the pictures and stuff, I don't know, like the videos and all of that, that's great, but sometimes they're coming through like blurry, so I don't know if it's like the size, and then maybe it's just for me, but like, I don't know if it's the size of the picture or like how it's like put together, but.
They're coming through blurry for me on a couple of them too.
I haven't seen that.
And it's
The opening act.
Oh, I've heard her on the radio.
I've been listening to her for a while, but I've been listening to like all of her songs now and I really like her.
Okay. Anything else to report? Kyle?
Yeah, the parade.
Wait, John rollerblade the parade?
That boy rollerbladed around the entire city limits of Warrenton. He came back while we were waiting in line with a hamburger from the fire station.
That is
They didn't pay the
amazing.
kid. No, they didn't.
What'd you say?
They didn't pay the kid.
Yeah,
They
right.
didn't.
Oh,
No.
That's awesome.
I wasn't necessarily trying to pull that up, but no, I think the parade went well. We got a heck of a crowd there. We handed out a ton of flyers. We were cruising. The parade moved.
It was going
at
super
very quick
fast.
clip.
I heard it was a good parade.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah,
It was a good crowd. I definitely think it's something we should do again. I think it was something that gave us a lot of exposure to a lot of people. If it was a little slower, we could have engaged a lot more people. I
Yeah.
don't think it wasn't that we had enough people, it's just that we were running to keep up with the dang. Well, the parade was just moving really fast. And I had some conversations with other people. It sounded like it was people that watched the parade that. It was like in surges. There was like some of the parade that was going really fast, and then there was big gaps, and then there was nobody, and then it was really slow. So that's just something to learn about being in the parade. We just need to set our own pace instead of going with the pace of the parade. I thought it went really well. And hopefully it gets people to come to the fair. Besides that, 2 weeks to the fair.
Yep.
We're crushing away. I mean, I'd like to say we're totally done and ready. We're not. I think we're far enough that we're gonna be good no matter what. The main concerns now are just making sure we have all the people in the spots, the greeters and the parking and the support for the folks that are coming here so that, not any one particular person is being overloaded, trying to carry the weight of a bunch of people, so it's getting there.
all right, very good, thank you, Kyle. Financial report?
Yeah, new fiscal year. This is the report for, what month is this for May. So this doesn't have June in it yet, So we still had quite a bit of surplus at the bottom when we were done, yeah. Yeah, budget of 961 and spent 594, so. We are running under budget. And then this one is the new budget. We're in for the new fiscal year. I really think that as we, this budget that we're using for the fair planning, it's basically the Trace Atkins fair year. I think what we really should do this year after the fair is really evaluate how much revenue we made on the fair and then tailor our budget in towards what our revenue is. Because I think we're spending probably 50 to 80 more than we're anticipating receiving in revenue from the fair for this current year, which isn't necessarily bad because we have a tax levy. But we should probably be trying to at least plan for a net neutral fair.
Yeah.
We're spending quite a bit. But we'll see how we go. It really hinges on the concert turnout. The concert is really carrying the revenue for the fair.
Yeah.
At least on our projections. I'm still waiting to hear back from the rodeo. They said, we don't carry that much insurance. If we want to, so they say rodeo bull riding. Says if you want us to carry that much insurance, the price is gonna go up by $1,200 or something. I said, send me your insurance level and I'll send it to our attorney and have him look at it. And if that's acceptable, then we can move on. If not, then obviously we'll have to pay you more to pay for the insurance if they say we can't do anything different. So, he's not an internet email guy, so everything moves a little bit slower with him because it's all mail. So.
Maybe you could send a fax.
Right.
All right, well. Anybody have anything for the good of the order?
Nope,
Yep,
get those meetings started.
I have 3 things for the good of the order. Are we still trying to have equipment at the fair?
Heavy equipment
Yeah.
or like local people provide.
Like
So
tractors?
I've asked Peterson Cat if they could bring equipment and they haven't committed 100%. It sounds like it's likely that they'll bring something, but I still don't know what. But that's really the only viable person that I've had conversation with about bringing it.
But are we asking like local logging or farming, or are we still trying to do that or no?
I think there's room for it. I think Matt
Yeah,
was gonna reach. out.
I've reached out a couple places and I've got no returns. I was gonna send an email out this evening, send a fax.
Sarah, would Teven bring anything?
Oh yeah, I'm sure we would. We just would need to know, like, what do you guys want? I mean, we have all sorts of stuff. Aaron could bring out some cool stuff.
Anything you guys could bring out that's related to logging or farming.
But we have lots of logging. And I know, Sean Teven has all those, he has like antique tractors, tons of stuff, but I don't know if he'd be willing to do that. But we definitely, like, we have a couple log loaders that are actually at the Napa office right now that are not in use. It would be kind of fun to bring out a big loader too, big front end loader, because those with the huge tires, kids love to stand by the tires and get pictures because they're huge, they're like my size tall. I'm not that round, but yeah.
What about old equipment? Like if Brian Costco could bring out some old tractors?
Yeah, I think anything that could be brought out, new or old, people would love it.
If you guys
Would you
can-
like a loaded log truck?
Yes,
Okay,
Does
because
he fit?
Weyerhaeuser usually is really nice to us and will let us use their wood, or Zippo, which is big, huge fir logs, they're like the big ones. So whenever we are presenting, but I think we could definitely do that.
You know, Nygaard brings one out for the concert and puts it
Yeah.
on the hill, and they usually try to get some jumbos on that thing when they bring it out. You know, anything that you guys can line up, just let me know what the footprint is. That's the big thing, is figuring out how big of an area we need to.
Okay.
So,
Okay, let me talk to Aaron and see if we could probably bring a loaded log truck and like 2 pieces of equipment, something like that.
and you were gonna look into a generator maybe also?
Right.
I did. Andy said the one that we have will not work for what you are doing. That we have one that would, but they can't take it away from our job site in Troutdale because they are literally barging rock in there 24/7 right now. So
Right.
you had talked to Peterson Cat, right, and put one on hold, essentially.
There's one, they have dozens of them. Getting a generator is not gonna be an issue. I just need to know if we're spending the $800 on the rental or if we can get one donated.
Yeah, so definitely Andy said it's going to be harder because of the I don't know what he said. He said something something to the something something. It has to be a specific type of generator, and I'm like, okay,
It's
I have
just
no idea what you're talking about.
3-phase and at least 100 amps.
Yes, 3-phase. Yes, that's what he said. Something like that. But I could reach out to Mike again if you want me to, Green.
Yeah, or I
Okay.
can, if one way or the other, I can call Mike, or if you wanna call, I've never asked him about equipment. I think I might
Yeah,
have
I can.
asking about lights, but I never got a response from him.
Okay, I can ask him that, but also I think that I was gonna reach out to Sunbelt Rentals. They're a pretty big rental company out of like Vancouver area. And Teven Brothers, we literally rent monthly our generator on our barge from them. And I feel like maybe they could cut us something good or do something for us maybe. If we just hung their signage up. Let me see what I can do with Sunbelt, and I'll talk to Mike too.
One of the things to make sure is that it's not too new, that it's too smart
Yeah.
and it wants to give you problems. It's underloaded.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want it to, yeah, I don't. So you said it has to be 3-phase and 100 amp, right?
Yeah, that's what they're asking.
Okay.
3-phase amp with the cam lock connections.
See, and that's what we need to know too, is when we need to have the Bogues here to set all that up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we
Okay.
definitely. Need
Yeah.
all this thing goes through.
3-phase, 100 amp.
Okay, my next two
Okay.
things are for next year, just to like be milling in your brains. I would like to see us have the concerts be part of the gate ticket rather than selling tickets. I think maybe we could get more attendance, even if we had to raise the gate ticket for the week a little bit. It's how to,
Mhm.
once you get in the gate, you just get to see everything. And I'm hoping because we have a better handle on admissions and who's coming in the gate, because I think we're just every year getting better. We'll have an idea of how much revenue we're getting.
Yeah.
Maybe we could offset between sponsorships.
Yeah.
Anyways,
The number that you really wanna know is, we made X amount of revenue and we had this many people, so we made this many dollars per person that came through the gate.
Mhm.
yeah,
And you can compare that year by year.
I just think it could cut out a lot of headache and it feels more like community,
Okay.
which is what we're trying to really harness out here, is that we're a community space. And then my next thing is in regards to the 4-H Association MOU. I'm wondering, because they are kind of different than all the vendors that we have. And I don't think they're actually a vendor. I think they're more of a community partner. Not community or fairgrounds partner. I just would like to see it put in their MOU that when they are donating money to either the pen setup or awards and scholarships and things like that, that they're maybe treated a little different than a standard vendor. And that we can have it in the MOU, so they don't have to come beg us every year. Cause I really just don't think they should have to ask.
Yeah.
I just think they should,
The current MOU says that they'll pay whatever the rate is.
Right, I
We
just would
can
like
make
that.
the MOU say whatever.
I just would like that updated so that they know going into their budget year, how much money they have. And then, cause we've never asked them for something that they haven't been like absolutely. You know, as far as the pens go, they donate just as much as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the big chunk. So I just would like, I would like some of that, you know, thinking to go take place. And that's all I have.
And we have money in our budget that's lined item to help with some new beat panel.
Ooh, I like it. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, did you have anything?
Nope, I already talked too much today.
All right, I just had a couple things. I really appreciate you guys, how hard you're working. I know that it's been a lot of work. Basically recreating this entire thing and trying to build something that's gonna be successful for the future. I know it takes, from experience, a lot of work to do that. But it'll be well worth it. I just thank you guys. Appreciate your efforts.
You appreciate that, and I'm really trying to make sure that we're not trying to change everybody's work. I mean, we need to be organized, but also try to honor the tradition that everybody expects that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, trying to figure out what that actually means.
Yeah, there's a fine line between tradition and we're stuck in a rut. And so, the honor the traditions and change what needs to be changed for the greater good of the community.
Yeah.
Right, and so, anyway, and then my next thing was, how is your crew doing? How are you doing?
I think we're doing good, I think we had a hiccup there for a little while. I think we've come through it and we've got a great team. We all have our own strengths and we stay in our lanes, but we also work to help each other out. And that's my opinion. I don't know, Kristen, if you have anything that you.
Yeah, no, it's great to have a year under me personally, my belt here, but I feel like we're moving more forward and not, how is this? Where was this? And so I feel like we're able to progress forward a lot more and understand each other, how we all work, and with Kelly and everything. So I feel in good shape for this year, and having more tools too, having Eventney and other platforms that we're working with, and is really streamlining our process more too.
Cool.
Thank you.
It's tough because there's a lot of things that we all take care of, and you don't necessarily know what everybody else is doing. And when someone's gone for a day or something, or maybe it didn't happen after one particular event, it's like, where did this go after the event? Are we missing this? Yeah, now we gotta try to find this. Who ended up with that? And we told this person we were gonna do that, and trying to make sure we're living up to our promises.
Yeah.
And but doing it all as a team. I think one of the challenges right now is just not being able to get the temp help in, and the rain that we had, and now all of a sudden the grass and the weeds and everything, it's almost impossible for one maintenance guy to keep up with.
Yeah.
We've had Rod here a lot from the juvenile department. He's basically been our third or fourth employee. And he's made, I'd say 2 days a week, he's here for most of the day helping. And he's doing stuff like helping mop the floor in here, and I try to tell him every single day that we appreciate him. And every time I see his boss, I tell him we appreciate him, that he can come over and work with us. I don't know how long that will last. I think they're losing an employee over there, and they may have to reassign. You may have to do some more office work, but we will take it while we can, because it's very helpful. Even Allison is with the juvenile department. She'll come out and ride a lawnmower for 4 hours. 4 hours on a riding lawnmower makes a big difference for us. That's a half a day that we would have to not be working on something else.
Is it possible to get 10 Point to come out here and like have a crew for a whole day to just get everything?
Yeah, we do that. We had them come out twice this year where they brought, the mess was separate from the floor. I mean, we have them come out every time we have to do with the floor, and they have cool people, and we'll get that done. And if there's time left over, they'll help with whatever. But 2 other days we had them bring people out, and so it was 5 or 6 kids weed eating all day. So that would have been a full week of Kelly weed eating nonstop. Like, that's a massive difference, and it's for the price of Domino's. Really, so we try to make it work with them so that it's not just bringing them out for all of this dirty work that needs to be done. but they seem to be happy to come out and get away. Yeah, we've used them quite a bit. We could probably use them more. They probably, but at the same time, I don't want to overextend on them. They haven't indicated that that's an issue yet, but, we appreciate it, and they seem to want more and more.
Yeah,
We're
well, I
gonna
know,
pay-
a lot of those kids have community service that they have to fulfill too, and so you're giving them that opportunity.
The two that accepted the offers for the longer are both drop course students.
Yeah.
They're basically, they're heavy county employees, but on their side, they're interns. They're doing work-based learning. And on our side, they're just employees. So the
Yeah.
only difference is really, I have to evaluate them. And it's fine. It's pretty easy to do. Nobody's grading my work. I'm grading them.
Brian Costco said he would bring antique tractors out, so do you want him to call you or just show up on
No,
Sunday?
I need to have an idea of the footprint. You wanna give me his, I may have it, but give me his number and I'll give him a call.
Okay, I'll give it to you when it's not recording, so
Sure.
not everyone has
Here,
it.
text it to me, yeah. Yes, that's the thing, gotta figure out area, to make sure everything fits. But more the merrier.
Okay,
Thank you, Matt.
well, then we're
Thank you,
adjourned.
all of you.